Hi everyone! I have just returned from the country where the retail trade is supposed to have appeared in the 7th millennium before Christ exists. That was in Minor Asia, where today is Turkey. And I got so inspired to make a research on how retail trade is done, because there trade is at its peak, whether we're talking about bazaar, mall, or street markets. What I found out is very inspiring no matter where you're performing in your business life, and I'm happy to share with you to help you grow your business. So just stay tuned and I invite you to subscribe to my channel for weekly micro learning lessons from business and finance. Thus, for all of you who have a business in the retail trade or you're planning to start a business in this field, or you are just one of those people who love to learn new things and enlarge your general culture and thus to get inspired to improve your professional life, this video will give you a full perspective on the most powerful selling techniques from Orient. Nevertheless, you must see with your own eyes how trade is done over there because it's just phenomenal. So when you have the chance, just book a trip to Istanbul and see for yourself. There you end up eating though you're not hungry, or you end up buying things that you didn't even think about because they just don't sell a product, but they sell you a customer experience. Now let's see the techniques. The first technique consists in exploring every opportunity of trade. And I'll give you 3 examples that are so different, and I've seen them during my short staying in Turkey. The first minutes I've entered the country, I noticed the endless column of trucks waiting to cross the border, and a minicar that was moving very slowly near the trucks and was honking. At first, I didn't know what was going on, but then I realized it was actually performing a trade by selling bread. The second example I present you can be seen both in the shops, from the streets, or in the restaurants. There is always a person outside the place who acts like a promoter for the shop or restaurant that is very convincing with many arguments, inviting you to enter the place because you'll find the best products. They perform an art to attract the customers. They usually start the dialogue by asking you where you're coming from, and immediately you answer. They either speak a few words in your language or they just tell you a very popular person from your country. So you end up having fun, enjoying a conversation, and in many times, especially if you're not familiar with the system, you end up entering the place. I need to mention that is a huge respect between merchants, and though they are pretty pushy and make a few steps with you, they never cross the border of their shop. So they try to convince you to enter the place in just a few seconds while you're crossing in front of their shop. That's pretty challenging, and I admire them for their talent. Another example I show you is the ad hoc entertainment that they perform on streets to cheer you up and thus to make some money. They sell you joy and music, and in return they get paid your price. The second technique is setting up the price by bargaining. The essence of the negotiation consists in knowing your customer. It means that everything has its own special and dedicated price. They don't give you the price till they know where you're from, and like this, they set the price and the margins accordingly. So, if you're coming from a wealthy country, be prepared to pay higher than somebody coming from a poor country, but still your prices will be lower than back home. It's pretty impressive the way they act, as it involves a lot of economic knowledge, buyer's behavior, and psychology, and they do it all in just a few minutes. Of course, agreeing on the price after bargaining still gives them profit, though you may have received a significant discount of 30–40%. If you offer them a price that is too low at first, they shake your hand and don't negotiate with you anymore. So you have to move on because they won't sell their stuff to you. The third technique consists in always asking for feedback. But the thing here is that they use a closed question, not an open one. For example, it's good, isn't it? When they notice you're enjoying it. So here is not about a real feedback, but it's a way of making yourself aware that you are satisfied with the product and thus close the deal or make you come back again for more. The fourth technique is to pay attention to the client and make every customer feel very special and important. They emphasize the personalization of the relationship with the client, though they can't remember the names, but they try to remember something about you. Usually, it's your nation. So, the second time they see you, they salute you and they say your country, which is amazing because they are so present in the business and they remember faces and places. The fifth technique consists in the fact that they trade so natural. It's like it's in their bones. They don't show like they need to close every deal or their happiness and wealth is depending on the success of the transaction, but they show like it's important for them to talk to you and offer you exactly what you need. Thus, they ask you questions and never forget to create a connection with you. When they find a thread of common interest on something, they are happy to share with you short stories or experiences from their life related to the common subject. And I get you now to the next technique that places the client in the center of their business. Here fits perfectly the slogan, Our client, our master. This is their belief. To exemplify this, it's enough to ask a question about a service, and even they don't have it, they will find a way to offer it to you. I was at the reception in our hotel and I asked if there is a spa center in the hotel with a swimming pool or massage. And the answer was no, but they can arrange it for us to take us to a close spa center and get a free ride from the hotel to the spa center. Wow, that is just amazing. Not to mention that I was looking for some trainers for my boy in Grand Bazaar, and the merchant that was closer to us when hearing me talking to my son said he'll bring us to a shop where we can find that trainers, though he wasn't selling trainers. And guess what? We went with him and found that specific trainers. My boy was very, very happy. The seventh technique is to keep exceeding customers' expectations. And this is not an easy thing to do. But when you're offered a tea in a t-shirt shop to enjoy while you're fitting the clothes, or you're offered a gadget pen while serving the breakfast, that are quite experiences to talk about. The eighth technique is to offer something from the house. Whether we are talking about an appetizer like bread with olive oil pasta or a dessert with baklava. Last but not least is that they make a visual presentation for almost everything. They stimulate your visual senses and, whenever possible, they offer a show to attract the customers around. I will let the images speak for themselves. Now, it was just a stew. Can you imagine how great they are? So, to conclude, these special techniques from Orient can be adapted to any kind of business and bring more value to your portfolio. I encourage you to pick one technique that most impressed you and include it in your marketing mix strategy. Then evaluate the impact in 3 months. Good luck and keep follow me for more business and financial tips. Thus, to keep you informed, please subscribe and click the bell to get notifications when I post new videos. Always remember the information is the superpower, and here you always find accessible micro learning sessions for your own good. See you.